What's going on, everyone? I'm back with another video. In 2021, I wish everyone a happy and successful new year. But I want to talk about 2020 and what were the good things that came out of it that actually were great learning lessons for my life and hopefully something that you can use too. All right, so the biggest first thing I learned this year is that I don't have to do things alone. There are people out there to help you with advice and people who can join in your team in a business. This one was a big one for me and it hit me hard. I've been putting this principle off for a couple of years and this came back to me recently when I started a startup with a friend of a friend. He knew he was not the best in tech. He knew his weaknesses. He knew where to get the advice and the support for him to progress with his startup. This is what usually successful people talk about as well, successful entrepreneurs, that you need to build a dream team that will support you through the journey and that they believe what you believe in. They share the same vision, they push forward to a common goal, and they're willing to blast through walls and do whatever it takes for you to reach that vision. When you think about it, it actually makes sense. When you talk to someone else about an idea, you will look at that idea in a much different perspective than what you used to look at it before. Whereas if you think about the idea just yourself, you're gonna have your limitations of your mind. This is where multiple minds are better than one. So it totally makes sense. I've actually seen this principle within a series called Undercover Billionaire. The series is about a multimillionaire person who is going from his cozy life back to rags, where he has only a truck and $100, and his task is to build $1 million business in 90 days. It's a challenging task, but what you can see where he applies this principle, he actually goes out and asks people what kind of business he should build in the local area where he is, where he can reach the $1 million goal. He also reaches out to people who would like to work with him, who buy into the vision. I don't want any spoilers, but essentially these were the principles which helped him to grow that business he was building. All right, so the second principle was to jump into the deep water and learn how to swim. This was a fun one because I threw myself into a couple of opportunities that I didn't know where they're gonna lead me, but they were totally worth it. This is again another principle in life in general, that you should just go out there, try new things without even thinking about the consequences, what they're gonna be, because your mind can get crazy about thinking about all the outcomes and whether it's worth it or not. So as a general rule of thumb, it's just better going with it. As an example, I had a great time in Dubai because I had an opportunity there. I was doing software contracting and one of my clients wanted me to go to Dubai within 2 days of notice. I was like, okay, well, how do I get my things together in 2 days and whether it's gonna be a good opportunity? I had to go for 3 months on this one. I was like, wow, like how can I prepare for it? Or like, is 2 days enough? Like my mind went like crazy. I thought, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna see how it's gonna work out. I tell you, it was the best experience of my life and also the toughest one. So how this whole thing happened is I was working on 2 contracts at the same time at the beginning of my Dubai stay. This meant I couldn't do the touristy things, all the fun things in Dubai, the skydivings, all the nice restaurants, every fancy locations. I couldn't go there. I was just essentially in my hotel room doing 2 contracts at the same time, had a nervous breakdown. It was not fun, but I managed to get through that and it started to become more fun. The contract I was on, I met wonderful people. I met wonderful friends. I learned a lot about the culture there. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful place. It's open, and I certainly would love to go back. And then the pandemic hit. So I had to come back from Dubai and finish the contract from here. Then there was another opportunity. This time it was Silicon Valley. A Silicon Valley opportunity. I've always wanted this so much. I wished I could just go out there and be part of a Silicon Valley startup. This was not only any Silicon Valley startup. This was a startup by Peter Diamandis. He's a great VC entrepreneur. He's the founder of XPRIZE, and I was working with one of his companies. Oh boy, again, what a great experience in 2020 I had. I met wonderful people. Honestly, they became friends for life. I learned so much about life. They were spiritual. They taught me a lot of things. I loved it. I also learned a lot about the Silicon Valley mindset, where it's really about trying out things, fail fast, and iterate, and just keep building. That was, again, part of jumping deep and learning how to swim. Coming to the third one, and this is perfection doesn't exist. This means the answers are within me, within you, within all of us. We don't need any external validation of proving ourselves. I found this to be an interesting principle because I thought I have to be perfect in order to do this, do YouTube, in order to start a TikTok channel, in order for me to go out on Instagram and do stories. But I had to look into myself and ask the question whether I'm really looking for like an external validation that I'm good enough to do all these kind of things. And I realized it's just not the case, and perfection is never gonna be there. Perfection is the journey you go through. I just went out and started recording, doing the recording right now, started recording videos, started the TikTok channel. And on the TikTok channel, I had an interesting guy who said that my TikToks were not good enough. I was like, really? All right, this is a sign. I was like, game on. I need to figure this out. And I know it's gonna be a journey, it's gonna be a path to figure this out, but I'm driven, I'm fired up. I wanna do this. This is gonna be the best time of my life. I loved figuring things out in the past. I've already figured out, kind of like with one of my clients in social media marketing, how to grow an Instagram account, like how to do e-commerce on that. So this is, again, a new journey, something I've never done before. I need to figure this out. I'm gonna go back to the principles, which I just said, find people, ask for advice, and just grow and just put out content. It can't really hurt me. It really just can't hurt me. So yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm on. This is the journey, because I really love Steve Jobs' quote on this. Is that he was talking about John Sculley, the ex-CEO of Apple, when Steve Jobs left Apple. John Sculley had great ideas, but he didn't really know how to make those ideas a reality. And so he put out the ideas, but the execution part of an idea is actually the craftsmanship. And this is what Steve Jobs was saying in this video.
Is that there's just a tremendous amount of craftsmanship in between a great idea and a great product. And as you evolve that great idea, it changes and grows. It never comes out like it starts, because you learn a lot more as you get into the subtleties of it.
So this is actually part of the journey which I'm on, is that there is no perfection. Perfection comes through the reps, through the content, through the learning, through the interaction with the environment, interaction with you guys who watch the video, who find it useful. I'll see how this goes, but I'm fired up. I want to do this. I want to provide the best value for you, what I can, what I learned within the tech field. And yeah, I guess this is it. These were the small learning lessons for me from 2020. I'm really curious as well if you guys had any good findings this year, or something that you think you need to change in 2021. So I hope you like this video. Please make sure to subscribe and like and spread the message for someone who would get some inspiration out of this. All right, guys, take care. See you next time.